Hello, and welcome back to Life According to Dana. As always, just wanted to stop by, give you a word of encouragement. And honestly, this time I wanted to share some things with you. I recently went to Africa. I went to Zambia on a work mission trip. And when I tell you so many things happen, I've had a hard time, honestly, kind of putting it into words as to everything that took place while I was there. But I just want to talk to you in this particular episode about something I observed when I first got to Zambia in particular. And we flew in to a lot of different places. On our way there, we flew from Buffalo to Atlanta, from Atlanta to Johannesburg, from Johannesburg to Zimbabwe, from Zimbabwe, we drove over into Zambia. I immediately noticed that yes, there is poverty in certain parts of the continent of Africa that I saw, but as I said, we were on a mission trip. So we went there to work. We didn't go to sightsee. We didn't go just to kind of lollygag around. We actually went to work. So we partnered with an organization called Poetis, and Poetis is an amazing ministry that is ministering to the people of Choma, Zambia, and the surrounding communities. And if you are looking for a ministry to support, shout out to them. Poetis, you can find them online. Is Poetice. Wonderful organization. They are doing amazing work there. Let me get comfortable. So, what I want to talk to you in particular about my trip today is what hit me and the word that just rose up in my spirit when I drove through the village of Choma. And that word is resilience. I have ministered about resilience. I have written papers about resilience. I have talked about resilience. And in a moment of transparency, I want to say this. When I saw the people of Zambia, it immediately made me redefine the word resilience. I was so awestruck by how people that I was looking at in this moment that had so little took what they had and they were making it work to benefit themselves and their family. Listen, I rode through one of their markets at one point, and everything I noticed was in very close proximity. But people had their different wares out. They had cloth out, they had things that they had made, things that they were selling. And the word just kept rolling over and over and over in my head and my spirit: resilience. I want to read this definition to you. Merriam Webster defines resilience as this: an ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. My goodness. Okay, so I was, needless to say, amazed by what I was observing, but I also was just kind of taken aback, can I be honest, about how we here in our country, you often hear it said, we are ungrateful, we are just spoiled. When you hear other people from other countries come here, they immediately say that we don't really know what poverty is, or we don't know what resilience is, or we don't know what a hard time really looks like. And I've heard that over the years, been offended by it, as a matter of fact. But here I was, face to face with the reality that these people live with every single day. They live with the reality that they don't have fresh running water. They have to go to a well. They have to either use the shallow wells that are there that are contaminated with all kinds of things. Anything that you see on the street is in that water: garbage, bacteria, anything. So, one of the missions of this organization that we were there with with Poetis was they have been building wells throughout the community. So, yeah, resilience, an ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. I saw the personification of that word in the Zambian people that I encountered. One, people kept asking me as I was preparing to go on this trip, well, what's your expectation? What are you hoping to see? What do you think? I, for the life of me, had none. And I went there basically as a blank slate because I wanted to. And I didn't want to put preconceived notions of what this trip was going to be on anyone or anything. So I just went empty. And I said, God, whatever you need me to do as I'm there to serve, that's all I want to do. I just want to go there and serve. I want to be able to do whatever you're asking me to do in this moment. I don't want to go there with any preconceived notions of what this trip is going to be or how I'm going to feel some connection or how I'm going to instantly be in the mood to kiss the earth when I get there. None of that happened, by the way. And so here I was face to face with redefining resilience. And this passage of scripture, God brought it back to me again, even as I was prepping just to do this broadcast. And it's the passage of scripture, that talks about when Moses was called by God to go and deliver the children of Israel. Moses is standing there face to face on holy ground in front of a burning bush, giving God every excuse he could as to why he could not accomplish what God was calling him to accomplish. He talked about stuttering. He talked about basically being unqualified to do this thing. And God asked him a question. He said, what is in your hand? This passage of scripture, we each were tasked or asked to do a devotional while we were there in Zambia for our team. And this was the passage of scripture that I ministered from while I was there. And God tied it together for me as far as this message. And I'm asking you this question on so many different levels, but let's just start here. What's in your hand? What excuses are you giving God for not being able to do the thing that God is asking you to do or calling you to do? What level of excuse are you using? You don't have enough. You don't have enough education. You don't have enough money. You don't have a building. You don't have this. You don't have that. You don't have this. You don't have that. And the list could just go on and on and on. But I promise you, I saw a people that this was not the case. They took whatever God had placed in their hands, whatever talent they had, if they were a seamstress, if they knew how to dye cloth, if they knew how to build beds, if they just straight out knew how to hustle, they took what they had. They did not allow the misfortune or the status quo to define what they were going to accomplish in their life, for their families, in their community. They took it and they ran with it. So here we are in a nation, yes, that is in turmoil. Yes, that is going through its own little situations. But when you compare what we have to what they have and what they're using to accomplish what they are accomplishing, shame on us. Shame on us. What's in your hand? What has God entrusted you with to bring about the things of the kingdom, to prosper his people, to be a blessing to his people? And I think sometimes we get hung up on material wealth, and we want to get rich. We want to be influencers. Oh, I am just so amazed at how many pastors are trying to be influencers right now that it's blowing my mind. They're more concerned about blowing up on Instagram, TikTok, and all these other social media platforms. Be very careful, men and women of God, that you don't get distracted by numbers, that you don't get pulled away or swayed away by the worldly things or the things of this world that man counts as success, because God's success is not man's success. What is in your hand that God has given you to benefit the kingdom? What talent, what gifting do you have that could be something that you consider small? Let's talk about cooking. I met these wonderful women of God when I was there in Zambia, and they ran the kitchen. When I tell you they ran the kitchen, they ran the kitchen. They prepared 3 meals a day for probably 60 plus people, and they did it with a smile on their face. They took whatever they had in the cabinets, or they prepared our meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There was no arguing, there was no complaining, there was joy. And I had the opportunity to actually go and assist them in the kitchen. And from what I understand, I guess this isn't something that happens a lot. But if you know me, I'm always, it seems, feeding large numbers of people. So I was pretty much at home here. But anyway, so they took what they had again and they made it work. Are you taking what you have and making it work? Are you being resilient in spite of everything that's going on in your life? Are you inquiring of the Lord, even though things may be looking chaotic and they may look like you got to kind of hold everything to yourself and not share it or not be a blessing to other people? Are you hoarding things? Are you taking the things that God has placed in your hands and are you holding them so close that they're not benefiting even you, that you're holding them so close that you don't even have the opportunity to see it multiply because you're so afraid that what you have right now in this moment is all you're going to have? Listen, the devil is a liar and God is a great God and he has cattle on 1,000 hills, more than that really, but you get what I'm saying. We can get so caught in looking at what we have that we miss the opportunity to allow God to take it and multiply it. I was talking to my Bible study the other night, and I was talking about the double. When Job was stripped of everything, friends, wife was asking him, please curse God and die. And all these things were happening. He lost his children, he lost his wealth, he lost his cattle, he just lost everything. And he's having this conversation. Not that he wasn't feeling bad enough on his own, but here we go with those 3 friends that came along and decided that he had done something wrong. He must have sinned. He must have did something to offend God. I know y'all don't have friends like that to come along and accuse you of doing something wrong because everything isn't picture perfect in your life. Well, so bad enough what was happening. Here they come. Here his wife goes. And now he's sitting there thinking that God is incapable of giving him back what he lost. And can I just say this? Pressure makes you special. Pressure will show you what is in you. Pressure will uncover your doubts, your fears, your anxiety. Pressure produces precious stones, precious jewels. Pressure produces diamonds. We know that. But listen, pressure can also make you see all the cracks that are present and unaccounted for. Because when he got up under that level of pressure, he questioned. He questioned God and just went on this little rant. Yeah, I'm paraphrasing because of, the story. If you don't, please look it up. The story of Job. It's a wonderful thing. And it's an encouraging moment because it talks about our humanity. It talks about the doubts we have when stuff starts going the other way. And so I always say it like this. So after Job finished with his rant with God, God clapped back. And he asked him, he said, "Where were you when I hung the stars in the sky?" See, be careful before you get into that debate or that argument with God, because he could clap back at any moment. So he had to like shake Job back up and get him back on track by reminding him who he was, one, talking to, and two, who he was. So after they got everything straight, and Job really probably felt small in the moment and said, "You know what? Though you slay me, though you take everything from me, though you strip me down to nothing, though you remove everything that I held of value and of high esteem, though you take all that from me, yet will I trust you." This is where we need to come. This is what I saw in the Zambian people. I saw a people that by our standards have been stripped of just bare necessities, but they did not let that affect their attitude towards God. They did not allow that to strip them of hope. They did not allow that to steal their joy. They were still laughing. They were still having fun. The kids were still outside playing. They were doing what they had to do to make good of the misfortune. Resilience, an ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. How are you adjusting to the things that are coming in your life? How are you adjusting? Is resilience a living testimony in your life? Are you trusting God? Are you taking the things that He's placed in your hands and maximizing them? Or are you hiding them like the one person hid the talents in the parable? Are you hiding your talents? Are you hoarding them? Are you pressing them down? Are you saving them for later? Because I'm just asking the question, and I'm just pointing these things out. Re-examine what you're doing with the things in your hand. Are you being resilient with what you have? I was amazed at how people could take so little and do so much. There was, I call it hustle, because there was a profound sense of hustle that was going on in that country. I thought people here could hustle. No, 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 no. We are amateurs, and no. Mm-mm. It was amazing. And it wasn't all with malice. Some of it was just survival. And some of it was just, this is what I have. I am going to maximize what has been placed in my hands. Are you maximizing what God has placed in your hands? Are you taking your gifts? If you sing, are you serving God with your gift? Are you worshiping? Are you magnifying Him? Are you teaching other people? That's another part of maximizing what's in your hand. Are you taking the thing that God has given you and are you sharing it with someone? Are you taking your experience and sharing it with someone? Or are you like, well, I had to learn this myself, so let everybody else learn it too? Or are you taking someone under wing and just teaching them the things that you've learned? Are you discipling anybody? Are you trying to help people not make the same mistakes that you made? Yes, I know life lessons are great lessons, but you know what? Everybody does not have to bust their head on the wall. You could actually speak life to them. You could actually give them a word that would actually help them do a detour. And trust me, they're going to have their own crisis or misfortune or opportunities to see change come in their life. But you could also share your knowledge. I always think of how some professions, they take on apprentice or they take on journeyman. They take people under wing and they teach them the trade. That's it. They teach them particular trades and they take the knowledge that they have and they share it. What are you doing with what God has placed in your hands? What are you cultivating? Are you expanding your knowledge in that field? Are you going back to school? Are you taking a certificate program maybe? Are you trying to find other people that are doing the things that you want to do? Are you allowing God to maximize what he's placed in your hands? Are you allowing the Spirit of the living God to bring you out of the shadows into the forefront? Are you allowing what's in your hands to manifest and be of use in the kingdom? Are you allowing what's in your hands to be a source of knowledge for other people? Or are you pushing your light down? Are you hiding your life under the bushes? Are you so afraid that someone is going to take your idea that you don't share your idea? Are you so afraid that someone's going to misuse your gift that you don't use it at all? Are you so afraid that what God has placed in your hands might cause you to stretch, might cause you to have to be uncomfortable for a moment? What's in your hands? And what are you doing with it? Are you allowing people to see the resilience that God has placed in you? Listen, men and women of God, there is a resilience that is in us that is unmistakable. When God is added to the equation, when God takes the lead, all they see, all people from the outside looking in, is, I don't even know how you recovered. I remember losing everything twice in 1 year: furniture, house, ministry, husband. Just everything blew up simultaneously. And it was like all my earthly possessions was gone twice. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, this is crazy. And again, I remember talking to my brother and he was like, yeah, you were supposed to end up in the mental institution in a padded room. Well, but God, and the fact that there's something in you, and as it was in me, that had to lock into resilience to bounce back, allow God to push back the thing that the enemy was trying to destroy or tear down in me. There is something that will rise up in you when you say enough to the enemy. It'll rise up when you say, God, have your way. When you say, God, I thank you and I trust you with everything that is going on, what the world is calling misfortune, or what the world is calling disaster, or what the world is calling chaos or unconquerable odds. When God causes this resilience to rise up in you, you will mystify people. They will look at you and try to figure out, I don't even know how you did that with what you had. This happens, I promise you, to me in ministry all the time. In Dana Brown Ministries, God to tell me to do something, I won't have the resources to do it at all. But I will sit there and say, but God, you gave me the vision, so I'm going to trust you to bring the resources. What are you doing with what you have in your hands? What has God placed in you that should look like Zambian resilience? What is in you that can take something that looks like so little to the rest of the world, but you make it work? Don't rely on your own strength. Don't rely on yourself at all, but turn that thing, that little thing, over to God and watch him expand it. Watch him blow it up. Watch him turn it into the resource that you need. Watch him bring a life out of it. Watch him bring blessing to hundreds of people, even thousands. That little thing that God has placed in your hand, surrender that thing today to God and watch him manifest. what he called you in this earth to do. Turn that little thing that he's placed in your hand that you think is a little thing and watch him multiply it. Watch God take the thing that man calls small and watch God expand it into something that revolutionizes the kingdom. God is such a faithful God, and he is waiting for you to turn over what's in your hand. Give it back to him and watch him expand it. Watch him bring joy. Watch him bring blessings to others. Stop hoarding what God has placed in your hands and allow God to magnify the glory that he wants out of your life. Watch him take what's in your hand and do the unimaginable. I pray this has blessed you. This is just part one of the Zambia story, but I pray it helps you understand how you can maximize what's in your hand. Zambian Resilience. Watch it manifest in you. God is faithful, and I'll see you next time on Life According to Dana. Be blessed. Always remember, God is with you no matter where you are. For those that may not be in the dark place, that you may be that spark, you may be that light, and what you have to say has value, that you may be the one that God is going to use to bring someone out of that dark place. You never know what people are really going through. You really never know what's their circumstance. Why are they feeling the way they're feeling? Why is their spirit so down? They may be waiting on you to be the one to speak the word of encouragement. You know, we just sometimes we get so caught up in our own stuff that we forget other people are going through similar situations